it's crazy that we already live in this time where like we can play video games with each other, but we can also, if we want to, just like hop on our PS5s to just watch somebody else play video games, right?
And talk to our friends
exactly.
at the same time.
But to put it like an extra step, I explained to my mom how sometimes when Jose gets tired, instead of turning it off and doing something else, he turns off his PS5, lays in his bed, and opens the PlayStation app and continues to watch and talk to us through his headphones laying down in bed, right? So it's just this whole like he's like the Tony Stark of getting nothing done, you know? Like that's pretty much like what that shit is. How does the Law and Order show start? It's like the criminal justice system, something. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on.
I feel like you should look it up and
Law
then like
and Order.
The criminal justice system is based on 2 blah blah blah.
That.
You should do that, but just like put joystick in there, like insert 1 word or 2 words with the joystick show. I feel like that works.
I would really learn this, except for the fact that it's a full paragraph, and I don't have that.
Yeah,
kind of
did you
time.
not know? Fucking Dick Wolf is preaching,
yeah.
bro.
All right, so we'll just do this. We'll just do I want to rip off more show intros. That's what I'm trying to get into, you know. Like fucking what's a good show intro? Fucking
you can do like a news like cutaway, like a
yeah. You know what else I could do?
What?
Live from my basement. It's Friday night. Whoa! Look at that. I just totally took over the conversation we were having about trying to start the show ripping off a show intro.
And you did.
And I made it look like it was a sketch about us. Yeah. Trying to find out what the show intro was going to be as if we were on Saturday Night Live. Welcome to the Joystick Show. There's lots more like that coming. It's great. Yeah. I'm Bobby.
Dylan.
Jerry.
Joey's off for the foreseeable future. If you are a fan of the Joystick Show or you happen to be in this friend group, which chances are you're not, Joey tends to do this thing once a year where he disappears to Florida for an really specified amount of time.
Personality completely different too. He's a bad boy.
Florida boy.
He's breaking mailboxes with bats.
That's what I envision.
Every time I just imagine him and his like and his goon cousins, which are actually, from what I hear, pretty nice people.
Yeah, they're dope as fuck.
Yeah, so I'm like.
But shout out.
Yeah,
Joey will hopefully be back for episode 200. We'll talk more about that hopefully next episode 199. But for now, we're going to talk some other stuff. In fact, the stuff that we're going to be talking about is right next to my face. Look at it. There's that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that? I shouldn't have looked that high. It's more like there's that.
Yeah.
And that.
So you gotta shift it. People are like, it looks a little different. It's a little up this week.
But anyway, that's what we're talking about. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a funny one. If you want to help us out, make sure to go ahead and like this episode of the Joystick Show. Think about subscribing. You can think about it, at the least. Just think about it.
Right.
Can't hurt. Just to think about it.
Yeah.
So think about it. All right. Lots of stuff to talk about. I want to take the reins here now because it's fresh in my mind.
All right.
I want to get it out of the way. All right, real quick.
I'm ready.
And I promise I'm not going to spend a long time talking.
I mean,
about
you could, and I'd be okay with it.
No, I'm not, because I actually have lots more to talk about today.
Me too.
But I really don't want to talk about this for that long.
Mm-hmm.
If you watched last episode of the Joystick Show, I ended the episode by talking about a new Netflix reality TV show that I had just started watching with my girlfriend. Right, that was on Friday. Okay.
Yes.
When we watched that show on Friday, I think we watched the first 2 episodes, maybe.
Damn, you were that wrapped up with only 2 episodes?
2 episodes.
Okay.
Maybe 3. Like 2.5 probably. Maybe we didn't finish the 3rd. Point is, the day after that Saturday, we ended up watching all the way through to 9. And then the 10th episode didn't come out until today, as we're recording the episode. And, I woke up. I can't even lie. Like, I hate to say it, but it's just been on my mind. Like, I've been waiting to see the conclusion to this dumb fucking show, And then, I didn't want to watch it without my girlfriend, but I was too curious. I went to Netflix and saw that it was an hour and 45 minutes. So it's like a fucking movie, this last episode. So I was hype, But now I want to tell you about how this show that I once loved fell so far from grace.
I mean, the thing is that it was like so short-lived. Like, you loved it for like 2 days. You know what I mean?
No, I loved it for a week. I loved it all the way up until...
He said, no, it's been longer than
that. It's been a whole week.
I loved it up until today.
You loved it between episodes, I guess.
So here's what happened, okay? If you remember on last week's episode, I'll give you a real quick brief rundown. The show is called Perfect Match, and the gist with the show is couples meet and basically go on dates, but can be cycled out with other people to try and find their perfect match. At the end of the show, 5 couples go to like the finale, and all of the people that have been on the show, including the people that technically were sort of like dumped by other people, get to vote on who they consider to be the perfect match. The winning couple gets an all expenses paid vacation and gets to like basically fuel their future romance, right? And right off the bat, I'm just going to say this. We looked it up. None of the couples are still together. They've all broken up since. And I want you to know that that's not what upsets me, because I went into this knowing it's a fucking reality TV show. You can't expect, you can't expect grandeur from this, right?
Yeah, that's kind of...
And that's not what upsets me. This is what upsets me, okay?
All right.
There was one couple on the show. Their names were Steven and Alara, okay? For all sakes and purposes.
Can we say...
Go ahead.
What the fuck are those names?
Right? Right?
Made up fucking names.
So Steven and Alara were arguably the fan favorite couple on the show. For all sakes and purposes, they had been together from like episode 3, I think, all the way to the last episode. And they told each other, like, they were super head over heels in love. He was planning dates for them. So point is, there was no breaking this couple up. There was even an episode where they tried to split them up, and they set them out on dates with opposite people. And they came back and they were like, yeah, no, we just don't want to be together. So it was like locked, right? And I even told my girlfriend Mill, I was like, I don't mind if they don't win, because there's like a couple other couples that I like. I didn't mean to say couple couples like that, but there were a few other couples who could have easily won it, and I would have been like, all right, they're a decent match, like they complement each other well, right? On this episode, there's a bit of a shakeup where a couple that had been together separated, right? Their names were Kaz and Micah. Again, weird fucking names. They separated. They started dating 2 new people, right? The new people that they started dating went on separate dates and ended up dumping them, and then they got back together, right? The only reason that's important is because they brought in 2 new people. It just so happens that those 2 new people, a woman named Christine and a man named Nigel, ended up matching with each other in the final episode at the beginning of the episode. So now there's like this new couple, like literally like a new couple that enters with the other ones, right? Christine and Nigel. They fucking won the show.
Wait, I thought everyone voted.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that everyone who got kicked off voted just for the new people? Was there like a rationale to it?
It's just
like, that's what I'm
they're
wondering.
just like salty and
If
hate
everyone has
everyone,
a-
and they're like,
if
fuck
everyone
out,
has a
fuck
vote.
all you guys. I'm
So-
gonna vote for the new couple.
So real quick, Nick Lachey, who is a voice of trust, God bless Nick Lachey, said that it was...
I've never thought I'd hear that.
No, yeah, he's the host of the show.
Yeah, I know,
He
but-
said that the couple, Christine and Nigel, won by 1 vote. I don't know if that's real or not, but regardless. One of the contestants on the show, a guy named Chris, me and my girlfriend, we were on Twitter searching the whole thing. He put out a TikTok basically explaining what happened, and he said that, and it is technically true if you look at it, all of the people that were kicked out of the house basically made a coup and a treaty to use their votes to not pick any of the couples that were the OGs who had been there from episode 1. And if you look at it, a solid like 6, maybe even 7 of them were original people that were there from the first episode that hadn't been switched out, that had found people and like stuck it through. So they kind of like rallied against them and picked the couple that got matched the same episode as the finale. So everybody on Twitter is just because it sucks. Like you invest 10 episodes of this show, right?
All that.
You watch all these couples over the course of 9 episodes, and then these 2 newbies show up. They like are okay. We kind of like each other. You can tell they're not head over heels in love with them, and all of a sudden they win the perfect match. So it instantly just lost so many points for me. I was so offended.
Yeah, I feel like at that point, like there has to be that more that happened like off camera, right? If they're that salty, where it's like they're making agreements, like no, this people can't win.
No, and what Jerry brings up is actually a solid point, and it's the last thing I'll bring up about this show. When he brought up off camera, there was one juicy piece of drama that happens in the show, but they present it in a way where it wasn't really filmed, so it's kind of like a he say she say kind of thing. Like, who's right?
That kind of works.
So real quick, it's between this one guy named Harry who's head over heels in love with this other girl named Jess, and a single girl named Melinda, who also happens to be the host of like a different Netflix reality show. So that's where she fits in this universe, right? There's an episode where the guys who are involved in matches already go out for what's supposed to be a normal guy's day out. But the big twist is while they're out, just as the guys, all of the girls that have been kicked out of the house come back sort of like as a temptation for the guys. And they get to further explore their options, even though their matches are doing the same thing in a different location. The reason I bring that up is because at this place, the guy Harry, who was matched with another girl, was head over here is in love with him, started flirting with this Melinda girl, right? What Harry tells us is that Melinda says that in his words, Melinda tries to kiss him, lies about it, and then Melinda's saying all this other stuff where he's like, I want to fuck you, I want to put babies in you, and all this stuff, da-da-da-da. And Harry basically tells Jess something to the extent that, yeah, he was flirting with her and being too playful, but nothing else happened, and he's really, really sorry to her. But he's, like, really guilty. Like, the guilt is eating this man alive. So you can already tell, like, okay, what did he do? And finally, in the season finale, when he speaks up on it, lo and behold, that's when all the camera footage gets leaked, and they have the camera angles and the leaked lavalier clips, and sure as day, he says all this shit, and he's like, he's flirting with her. I want to fuck you. I want to put babies in you. They kiss off screen, and like a camera guy gets a little of it. So I'm not gonna lie, that was fulfilling because
that works.
That gets set up in like episode 7 or 8 or something like that, and it's something you're thinking about, like who the fuck. And even by the end of it, you're almost at a point where you're like, I'll just believe this because you're not gonna know what happens. And then when they spring it on you, you're like, oh shit. But even then, it wasn't even a couple that was involved in the finale. So it was like, it was just stupid. So regardless, all I'm going to say is this. Perfect Match is really great trash TV. Yeah. If you just want to turn your brain off and follow a stupid storyline, go ahead. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I really want to give it a 6.5. But, I'm going to judge it off the first 9 episodes, not just the shitty 10th. And the last thing I will say is the editor or the editors of this show have to be some of the funniest fucking people because the stuff that they do, both with the footage that's already presented to them, but then like the graphics that they make with it are fucking hilarious. Yeah. Like you could tell that the people who edited the show had a ball doing it. It really reminds me of how I treat some of the shit I do here at Joystick. Super loose, not as corporate as you'd expect. So very, very fun. So for that being said, could have done better. Perfect. Was it your perfect match of a show? Because it's just it's awkward to see just based on like you talking about it and me and Jerry going into an uproar without even seeing it. Like me and Jerry were like, wait, like we both had shit to say. But yeah, I think that they should have rigged the ending just based on the fact that the whole concept is, right. Once you consider the actual concept of the show, it's like, this is stupid. None of the couples stay together after these shows. A lot of the stuff is like, of course, edited after the fact and framed in a certain storyline. So why not just rig it at the end? Does it really have to be a correct vote? But whatever. The other thing I'm just going to say real quick is, were you guys there last weekend when Mildred and I were like watching, like I think clips of that show or something like that? I forgot when it was. Oh no, I think it was because you and Jose came over for the fight, right? Yeah. And then you left without Jose, right? Yeah. So after Jerry left, Jose stood, and me, Jose, and Mildred were watching TV, and we put on clips of that show. And Jose was watching it. We were like just showing him the highlights, so to speak. But then Mildred brought up Love on the Spectrum, which is the show. Yeah, there's like Down with Love, and then there's Love on the Spectrum. Yeah. Those are the two good ones. So, as soon as she brought up Love on the Spectrum, Jose and I got instantly curious. So, disclaimer, I'm not a bad person, but we did go into this thinking that it was going to be a little funnier than it is. Granted, it is funny, but not like in the, what I'm getting at. Yeah, right? Yeah. When I say we got emotional multiple times, bro, like this is probably a poor choice of words, but such a special show. It really is fucking beautiful. Oh yeah, no, I've heard great things. Like it's so great. It's funny. There's this one guy with Asperger's that immediately Jose and I were like, that's our fucking guy. Like he's such a homie. He's so cool. He has like a cool collection of canes. I think Jose and I both follow on him on Instagram now. And he's one of those guys that you go into the comments section and they don't fuck with him. They're like, you're the best, man. Like thanks for this. You're the dopest. I love that guy, bro. But I never, something about these Netflix reality shows, man, they're consuming me, and I need to get away. That's what I've learned. I need to fucking step out of it. Need to watch Red Pill YouTubers. Oh, yeah. Become an alpha man. The black pill. Yeah. Bro. I don't know if he's ever gonna see this, but shout outs to my older, like 60-year-old cousin who's been sending me a bunch of like Red Pill content.
Oh,
They use the
no.
like funk music.
Yeah, sent me one of like this like woman talking about how the human race was gonna be eradicated and we needed to open our eyes, and I'm like, can you just stop sending me?
That's not even Red Pill. That's like,
bro.
that's crazy shit.
He sent me one of another thing. I get a lot of. I'm just trashing him at this point. Fucking, I don't give a fuck. It's great content. He's sending me a lot of like World Trade Center conspiracy stuff now. You know,
He's a little
like,
late.
Yeah, first of all,
He's a Dipset associate, bro.
On topic, pre-podcast discussions. But fucking no, he's like sending me a bunch of like 9/11 conspiracy posts, and then he sends me one of like it starts off with like a black screen and there's text on it, and it's like, this is actual leaked footage from 9/11 or something like that, and it's a building that's not the World Trade Center. It's like it's like a hotel. It's like a short ass compared to that. It's like a fucking like 10-story building or something like that. And you see it has like remote detonation charges, and they're all like primed, and they go doom 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 doom, right? And it's like it's a demolition of like a building. That's all it is. But like all the idiots in the comment section are like, these are the angles they don't want you to see. It's like, that's not even New York City, dude.
Facebook comments like deserve, like if anyone deserves to be actually eradicated, it is people who make Facebook. They're not even correct. They're angry about a thing that wasn't even in the video. They're like, damn man, I can't believe that's there. It's like, no, that ain't even in that.
And they always have like supporting evidence, like wrong articles for their wrong fact. Like, how did you find this, dude?
Bro, another one of my favorites was, again, I hope he never fucking sees this because it's too specific at this point. He's gonna know exactly. I'm naming the reels like word for word. But there's one. I didn't understand it. I was pissed at it. It's like it's supposed to be like an alpha male thing, and it's saying this whole monologue where he's like, we need to reject these ways, and the ways that they're showing are like gay people, transgendered people, you know, like your typical alpha,
SJW type adjacent
so
stuff.
Like, we need to resist this. We need to go back to the basics. And then it shows like, you know, like men eating meat and wolves and family and all these like shit. And then at the end of it, it's like, we must be the light. We must be Lumos. And like the name of the brand is like Lumos or whatever. So, you know, it got me, like not in that sense, but I was like, all right, what the fuck is Lumos? Like, let's look into it. I click it. It's nothing. It's nothing. You know what the biography of it? It's Lumos means light. Like, that's it. It's not even like a brand or a company. Somebody made this
bro,
hard
it's the
ass
newest
video
philosophy, bro.
A lot of the channels on Facebook are like that. Also, the Red Pill. Oh, not the. Sorry. Oh man.
Fucking
It was empty. The Red Pill content pisses me off because it's not like, it doesn't make sense in terms of like, let's go back to how it was, as if like we all weren't dying of cholera. You know, there wasn't no fucking
That
thing.
camera just died. That's the first time that's ever happened on the show. That's
Word.
crazy. Hold on. You keep talking because this camera's going to show you.
Yes.
I'll do a switcheroo.
Oh, absolutely. I could talk for the next 15 minutes. But yeah, like it's annoying because it's like not only like it's like we all had diseases, there weren't any vaccines. Even going back to a little while ago, like we didn't have technology, we didn't have any good stuff. Everyone like beat their wives and children. Like,
Right,
it wasn't a good
exactly.
world.
Like
None of this stuff was good. Why are we like, oh, let's go back to the basics?
yeah, it's like dude has a family, dude dies. Okay, family's poor for the rest of their life.
Oh yeah, family, you literally a fucking orphans and shit like that, and like
It's awful.
yeah.
Sorry. No, don't worry about me. I'm just...
Don't worry about you. Just
I mean, shit's not great
slide
now,
it back
but you
in.
know,
Second
it's definitely
sound
better.
speed. Now we're all back. We're all synced up again. Look at that.
Look at that.
I
Beautiful.
didn't even know that camera did that. I didn't know that made that noise. I was like, what is that? Oh, the battery died.
I mean, I thought it was like I was like, damn, my hot pocket is ready. Right now.
Some fucking microwave.
Yeah.
Fucking something I want to bring up.
Okay.
Hold on. What's the order of? Okay, I'm gonna start this one. No, because there's
okay.
there's a
plan.
method to the
There's a
madness.
plan.
There's a
There's a
method.
plan.
I want to talk about 3 things, but there's like a little rapid fire because they happen back to back, and Jerry can even attest to that.
Okay.
Because Jerry was here for most of this. In fact, Jerry was here for all of this.
Huh.
So Jerry and I were playing video games the other day.
Okay.
First of all, it's not what I want to talk about, but Jerry and I are back on Overwatch.
Yes.
And last night, Jose and I were hanging out, and Jose found out that they finally added dead zone options to Overwatch.
Oh,
and Jose was
shit.
like, I might have to check this shit out.
Oh.
So I'm just saying, if we get a little 4-piece together,
We're back.
we carry Jerry as a
We're
healer. We might get a little 5-star.
We're back. We're back.
We might be back. We might be back.
I'm a good healer too.
And for what it's worth, every game I've been playing, it's like I never left. But that's that.
Hey.
What I am want to talk about. Grammar. What I do want to talk about is fucking when Jerry and I were gonna start playing. We were gonna play Apex, right?
Yes.
But before we played Apex, I had been playing another Lego game. And I noticed in that Lego game that when I was like, maneuvering between characters, whenever I would go right on the D-pad, it wasn't registering. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? So I just used this stick and I didn't think much of it. I just figured it was like a game bug, because the Lego games are pretty buggy for what it's worth. Then when we got into Apex, I noticed that my right D-pad button wasn't working at all. Like pressing it, pushing it in every maneuver. Like I was getting heated. Jerry was there. I was getting fucking pressed. Because I was like, I'm not about to spend fucking $60, $70 on another controller just because this one button doesn't work. Doesn't even have stick drift or anything. Yeah. It's just like what the fuck? Like,
I had that with one of my controllers where like the X was fucked up.
I went to my mom's room. I got an earring. I reset it with a little fucking mini hole in the back of it. Didn't work. I'm on Amazon. They're too expensive. I'm looking to see if the GameStop right here has one. None in stock. I'm getting tight. I'm getting pressed. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I don't want to spend this money. Shot in the dark. I'm like, let me go to Google. When has Google led me wrong, right?
Or Reddit. Reddit usually comes.
I'm getting there, Dylan. Okay. I'm getting there. Right? It's a chain of events here. Okay. Right. So I Googled left D-pad not working on PlayStation 5 controller, which led me to a Reddit post, which basically was very similar. Instead, it was their down D-pad button, right? The first one says something way too technical. It's like, oh, it's this receiver, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, what the fuck that means, right? The second one is this guy who basically suggests opening up the controller, like unscrewing it and like cleaning something in there. But I'm not going to fucking do that. Like, I'm not Jose. I don't know how that shit works, right? The third comment in the subreddit, I notice, has dozens of likes, just maybe hundreds, like so many comments under it that are like, you're a wizard, thank you,
oh yeah, those
God
are the best.
Sent,
yeah,
I love you. This guy literally something to the extent of, oh, I got you, just give your controller like 5 good whacks and you're good. Jerry can attest, bro. I went, holy shit, and I was back in business. My controller works perfectly fine. So I don't know who that guy is. I will go through the work of finding you, and this is your name, and thank you, because I didn't have to buy another controller. But just wanted to share that because that was fucking
I think it's also just scarring because you're afraid you're going to fuck it up even more. Yeah. Exactly. So I feel like that's always that's not always the first go-to, which you think with our fucking caveman non-probability brains that we would go to that first.
But maybe it works for some shit.
Yeah.
Let's go. Shout out.
A little bit of, what's it called, that has a percussive maintenance?
Yeah, right there.
So shout outs.
Elbow grease.
And then that leads into another thing I wanted to talk about, which is a new game that Jerry technically discovered, so to speak, even though the game has existed for a good amount of years. But it just made its way to console.
Yes.
And Jerry wrote me into it.
Valorant, yeah, that game's pretty good.
I've heard of it. I've heard about this.
Kind of juicy.
I know about it, but
it's just a shame that it's in this wave of all these 5v5. Yeah. Use a hero and beat the team.
But I think it's actually...
It's a different, though.
No, yeah, it's in a good spot because there's no other competitive shooter like it. I think the only one on par that would technically be on console would be Siege, right? And even then, it's in a completely different tone, right? It's
different vibes.
More Overwatchy, so to speak, right? And definitely more Counter-Strikey.
Yeah.
It's obviously
in my head, it's in my head, I when I first saw it, I was like, what is this Japanese Counter-Strike? You know what I mean? That's the first vibe you get when you watch it.
But, I'm having a lot of fun in it. As someone who has very, very little experience in Counter-Strike, and I mean maybe 3 hours on PC Counter-Strike, right? It's kind of cool to have a game like that we can play on a console and be, not, I wouldn't say competitive, it's more cooperative than anything, right? It's you have to be communicative. And it's a
good quality game.
And it is a very great quality game. I mean, Riot makes great games. So you can't really fight them on that. But I just wanted to shout it out because I really didn't expect to have as much fun as I'm having with it. I find it also funny that I tried to get into the beta and then I found out that people who get into the beta get the 5 referral codes. So I was like, yo, Jerry, just fucking
word.
So if you're trying to play Valorant, Jerry's got codes.
Yeah. It's a good change of pace.
And it is a good change of pace. And I was also going to say, I was telling Jose about it yesterday, we kind of have a shooter problem now where there's almost too many shooters to play. Like, I deleted Call of Duty, and now I have even more shooters. I don't know how that happened. Like, I had 3, I deleted 1, and now I have 5. It makes no sense. So, oh no, 4. I have Apex, Overwatch, Valorant, and X Defiant. So, and that's getting a new season, or I got a new season. But point is, it's the season of shooters, or the summer of shooters. Summer shooters.
Summer of shooters.
There you go.
I like it.
That's the title of the segment.
I like it. I like it.
And then a third thing happened.
Okay.
A third.
And then a friend joined the party. Little man by the name of Jose Barrios.
Correct.
I don't know if you know this guy.
Yeah.
He's kind of a friend of ours.
Correct. On this podcast.
Yes. For Shoutouts to episode 4.
Yeah.
Jose's on. What am I gonna say? I was gonna say that Jose, if you don't know him, has like this thing where he really likes watching people play video games. And I don't mean in like the newly conventional sense where you go on twitch.tv and you watch like a famous streamer play a game with hundreds of other people watching him play. No, I mean like Jose will text you and be like, what are you doing? Get on your PlayStation, play a game.
Jose, when he is burnt out or needs comfort, will go to that extent.
Yeah. Yo, what are you doing now?
And another important thing to note is the weirder the game, the more appealing it is. For
Yeah,
Jose.
yeah.
Like Jose doesn't want to watch you play a
Like
AAA
Call of Duty,
title.
yeah.
He wants to watch you play like Cars Race-O-Rama.
Or Punch Club.
Or
Remember that?
Yeah.
We literally had everyone join the party to be like, Dylan, what the fuck are you playing?
Yep, I remember that. But point is, you know,
Word.
that's kind of Jose's shtick. So we were playing Valorant, and Jose got on the party to watch with us. And it's funny because I was explaining it to my mom too the other day about how like it's crazy that we already live in this time where like we can play video games with each other, but we can also, if we want to, just like hop on our PS5s to just watch somebody else play video games,
word.
right?
And talk to our friends
Exactly.
at the same time.
But to put it like an extra step, I explained to my mom how sometimes when Jose gets tired, instead of turning it off and doing something else, he turns off his PS5, lays in his bed, and opens the PlayStation app and continues to watch and talk to us through his headphones laying down in bed, right? So it's just this whole, like, he's like the Tony Stark of getting nothing done, you know? Like, that's pretty much, like, what that shit is. So
when you put it that way, it's like it's him on like a fucking technical like Iron Man suit headset, and he's like, "Yeah, give me the Dave's double."
So Dylan's already getting ahead of me in this story. Dylan's already jumping the gun again. So in this turn of events, Jose's like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take you to Taco Bell with me. Because Jose's going to go
he
get
did
food.
say that.
So instead of going to the bed, he turns off his PS5, gets on the app, and takes us in the car with him. So, you know, we hear like the engine and the clicker.
The ticking.
Yeah. So as he's approaching Taco Bell, he's like, shit, this place is packed, man. The drive-thru's full.
He's like, yo, watch this.
And he tells us, he's like, yo, so they know me here because he goes to that drive-thru so often. He says they have a protocol, or when you drive to Taco Bell to pick up an order that you've placed online, they ask you for your name, you tell them your name, and then they ask you for the order so that they can cross-reference the order and the name to make sure that you're not lying, and then they give you your food at the window, right? So, but Jose said that since he's been there so often, as soon as he tells them their name, they just tell him to drive up to the window because they already know it's him. He gets the same thing every single time.
Again, he's like the fucking coolest.
So Jose pulls up to the fucking drive-through window, right? And he's literally like, let's see, watch, right? And to play this off, right, I want you to be Jose, and I'll be the Taco Bell drive-through person, right?
Okay.
So it goes something like this. It goes something along the lines of this, right? So it's like, welcome to Taco Bell. How may I help you?
I'm here to pick up my order.
Name?
Jose Barrios.
Drive around. Literally that fast, bro. No longer of a pause. It was that we were on the floor rolling in stitches, bro.
Driver up.
This guy sounded done with Jose. Like he was done with him. It was the funniest laugh I've had in so long, bro. But shout out to Jose. Probably at home. Tony Starking it up right now.
Eating Taco Bell.
Yes. A drone feeds it to him. Oh, fuck.
He has an assistant for some reason.
But yes, anybody else? Go.
Oh, I have something I would like to talk about.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What's Dylan bringing to the round table?
It is a beautiful thing I got to experience in person.
What was that?
Yeah. So that was last week. I went to the first Mets game
Hey.
that I went to this season. Fun time. They changed some stuff at the stadium. I don't know if you guys know this.
Oh, what did they do?
Not really. It's the same fucking shit. They no longer have the beer I drink at the stadium. Very, very, very tragic.
So does this mean like you were on a new quest to find?
Yeah, and there's not like nothing is good. Like I'm just like I don't want to buy a beer that's gross. But like the beer I already had was I would get the Leinenhugel Summer Shandy, which I don't know if you guys know. It's like a lemon beer. So it's acquired
that
taste.
actually, I think I've had.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
before.
So it's like it's refreshing, but it's still a beer.
Right.
They don't have it anymore. It's really sad. I have to get a seltzer or something, which like just gives me heartburn. Anyways, the Mets are in a magical moment right now. The Mets are going through a phase. So 2 weeks ago, in the year of our Lord 2024, we had the honorary first pitch for the New York Mets. And so, of course, you got to get the biggest celebrity there is.
Yep.
McDonald's mascot Grimace. To throw out the first pitch.
Here it is.
The Mets proceed to, after Grimace throwing the first pitch, proceed to go on an 8-game winning streak. They are now 9-1 in their last 10 games.
Holy
fuck yes.
And they're like the second highest scoring offense. It is absolute nonsense. All because of Grimace. It's literally Grimace. There's Grimace chants. They played a game in Texas. It was like at least 50 Grimace shirts.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Now everyone, like every website, like Teespring, like there's like 100 people selling these
Mets
fucking Etsy Grimace like knitted shit with like Grimace and shit.
All right.
Now they finally lost, right? But that's that's okay. You gotta lose some games, Today I'm at work. I checked my phone. They are winning 10-1 against Shota Imanaga, the best pitcher currently in baseball right now. So yeah, fucking
listen. Sometimes it just happens for your team, man.
Yeah, sometimes,
you gotta live in the moment.
So you're saying we gotta go before this wears off?
Yes. So normally, this is June and July are the Mets' worst months of the season. So normally it's either they're really good and then they lose it in September, or they kind of fall a little behind in the summer and then they keep trying to catch up. But now it's like, no, they're catching up right fucking now.
Right.
Yeah.
Put those parlays in is what you're saying.
Pick a player, buy the jersey. I would say pick a guy who has a contract because,
I got the Piazza one.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Word, I gotta get a baseball jersey.
He's going strong.
I got the Italian coach. I rep him hard, baby.
And I would like to talk about also to skew that into a different baseball topic because I love about the Mets the most. But I would like to talk about the yesterday they had essentially a honorary game in Alabama for especially last week, I believe, or going May into June. All of the Negro League, which is essentially the segregated league that people had to play in until they were allowed to play baseball. Their stats are now MLB stats.
Yep.
Because you couldn't be, you literally couldn't be in the league. So now a bunch of leaders are now different people, like stolen bases, a bunch of other stuff. So they gave everyone who's still alive, gave them their fucking awards.
Good.
In person.
As they should.
In person.
As an incredible fucking joke and point about this?
What?
Daniel Tosh.
Yeah.
Because of all the people who want to talk about how Babe Ruth is like the greatest baseball player of all lives. And he tells, why don't you fucking integrate the Negro League stats into MLB and then we'll have that conversation. We'll talk more about that.
And people always say, it's like a lower quality of competition. And it's like, they had to fill out some teams, sure. Like, you had a lot of more, like, utility players. But then you also had guys that would, like, they would pitch and hit and coach.
Yeah.
The fuck is that?
Yeah,
What do you
right.
mean? You're literally doing everything. So they gave everyone their awards, and essentially, I'd like to give a shout out to, they had several people that were over 100.
Wow.
They had a man who was 99, fought in World War II. I put this in the chat.
Yeah.
Fought in World War II. And grew up across the street from Martin Luther King.
Yep.
Insane.
And then also did some other stuff with with civil rights and all of that as well. So just like some crazy people just in the mid, and also middle of nowhere in Alabama too, like fucking middle of nowhere.
And kind of also on the topic, how crazy is it that in the same week baseball loses Willie Mays and basketball loses Jerry West? That's kind of
who would have expected?
Yeah, football better watch out.
Football better watch. John Madden.
That was a while ago.
I know, but
Draw a circle over your face.
Literally, like a ton of days are ticking. But I'd like to end it off with baseball. It's like soccer might be the world sport. Well, baseball is like
No, it's right there.
baseball. Like I don't know what they're making changes to be in that position.
Yeah.
Like they're playing games in London. They're playing. They're gonna. They're trying to make a team. They're trying to make a team in Mexico. Every league is trying to make a team in Mexico. Football, the NFL is playing like 2 or 3 games in Mexico this year.
Weird.
Like they want it really badly. And actually, baseball would do really well because Mexico City has a crazy high elevation, and when you have a high elevation, the ball travels like 50 feet further. So
Shouts to Colorado.
Shouts to Colorado, one of the worst hitting teams. Yeah. But I would just like to say, go Mets. We got to go to a game, do a Chronicles.
Yeah.
And, eat a burger with pastrami on it.
Or pick a day a little less hot than today,
Yeah, not. I mean, we could also get like the indoor seats too. They're not like most, like over half the seats gives you access to the indoor area. You just got to go up and go into it.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah.
It actually reminds me before we end the episode. Because you mentioned the mini chronicles thing.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier, probably before that. Yeah, definitely before the podcast that I was going through an old folder that I have on the hard drive that basically has a bunch of old scrapped stuff that we either didn't put out on the Joystick channel. I don't know why I said the Joystick channel. That was weird. That we didn't put out on Team Joystick or Mr. Joystick back then. Or it's just like shows that we made that didn't work out, stuff we filmed, like maybe the audio died out or the cameras died and we didn't get the footage, but stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. But I found a Chronicles folder that actually has footage from different like mini Chronicles that we shot. And one of them is one that you'll probably remember it was one that all 5 of us did in Bay Ridge by the Verrazano Bridge.
Yes.
And it was like the first time we used like the fancy rig with the light on.
I remember that
stuff. But the reason we never used it was because the audio was shit. Like we had,
I remember holding like in my head.
Yeah, we had a shotgun microphone on it that technically should have picked up anybody in front of it, but for whatever reason, you had to be like right in front of the microphone to get picked up. And for whatever shittier reason, the people who sounded the clearest was always the people behind the microphone, like behind the camera. So it didn't make much sense. So it would make more sense now to kind of do the same thing with live, so we could just have them on our persons and not even have to worry about that shit. But regardless, where I'm getting at is I found that footage and I hadn't watched it in fucking years. And not only is it pretty funny, it looks really good. Like, it's really fucking good.
That's why I specifically remember being mad that, like, you too, I'm sure, that, like, we never put out a lot of those different random chronicles.
Yeah.
Or we had, like, little bits and pieces of what it was, because it's like, oh, no, that was actually quality for
like, I'll put
us just talking on a walk,
I'll put some clips here so you can see what I'm talking about, but, like, the visual quality of these clips legitimately had me, like, fuck, like,
yeah, we were basically carrying around one of these lights.
No, yeah, for sure. Like, it was like, and it was cool because it was like a portable version of it that we could just take, and the idea that I had is obviously Chronicles, and I'll get to this in a second, but Chronicles has been something that for us at the channel I feel like I speak for all of us when I say it's like universally loved idea on the channel. Like everybody likes doing them. It's very fun to do them and then see the product afterwards. Like our dumb conversations turned into edits and
funny jokes and good actual shots, etc.
But what I find funny is that fucking, oh my god, did I just lose the point that I was going on with this? Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Don't worry. Chronicles. Oh no, yeah. So the reason I point that out is because obviously I think that's something that we want to explore further at some point, like doing more Chronicles to some capacity, like at a Mets game or going to the movies or something, right? But I think it'd be cool to mix that quality of the cool DSLR rig with the quality that we've built up on Jose's smartphone, with that kind of like old school, like found footage feel. So I think there's a vibe there to unlock, so to speak. So
I feel like it's like half of it should be like on the field type, kind of crazy, and then the other half is like actual like nice shots of the sunset, and then us doing some shit like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And Jose, what's cool is Jose actually has that phone kept purely as a camera now, so he's like, that's the Chronicles camera, which is cool. So something to think about. And also the last thing I wanted to touch on too is that I was talking to Mildred about a lot of our old content, and I find it funny how a lot of the ideas that we all really like to do are ideas that we've had for like years but never did until like recency. Like the Chronicles was something that we had as an idea from like 2014 when we were in high school. Like, oh, we're gonna make vlog style videos, and then we never did it until we were like adults like walking around in Astoria and stuff like that.
Yeah, and even then, we didn't even do it, I think, the way we imagined. We did it all, like, on the spot. Like, oh, let's just film this.
Yeah.
Like, it was never, like, what we, like,
Exactly.
really...
And then the other point is I remember
thought.
being, like, really young, like 17, 18 years old, and I think I pitched an idea, like, oh, I want to do a show called The Joystick Show, where we just talk about stuff and do segments and things like that. And then completely forgot about it, and fucking here we are, 200 episodes
podcast,
later. Yeah,
and
but
Brandon,
I never expected it to be a podcast, but, you know.
It is what it is, and it's nice.
Exactly.
Word.
But just shout outs to us. 'Cause it's rare that we shout out us.
Yo,
But,
yeah.
what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, like, I wish that was after Jam and Yam, so then you could immediately go, like, make sure to, like, we immediately pitch us. Like, make sure to check us
You
out,
know what?
guys.
Subscribe to Team Joystick.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
again in like fucking 5 minutes.
There's a crowd, they're like, yeah.
All right.
Edit in the crowd.
It is time for Jam, Yam, Bam, Slam. There's a better way to say that. We're gonna theory craft that. That's like right on top.
If you say music recommendations, though, it sounds pretty lame.
It is lame. That's why I don't want to say it. Like they're the Bams, the Yams, the Jam. Maybe we just
The
say
Ams.
the Ams. The Ams. Is that it? Did we just do it live on the podcast? Did we just settle it? Are they the Ams?
Amps.
Shouts to the Ams. All right, it's time for the Yams. But now it just sounds like I'm saying the Yams. We're gonna have to work on that. We'll get on it. Don't worry, guys. That's on the top of the
Jams and the Pussycats.
That's on top of the poll of things.
It's not. It shouldn't be. That's my vote, but no.
Listen, I'm gonna let somebody else start because
All right, I got
boy
you.
did your man get a lot of music.
All
in
right,
this
so I was actually upset, man, because Dylan was he was the one that mentioned it last week, where he was like, "Did you listen to the new Suicide Boys album?" And I was like, "I haven't. I didn't even know they had an album." So I
did.
listened to it, and I was like, "Ah,
It's got some bangers.
It's banger. It's very mid.
yeah,
It's very mid.
yeah.
But
So I picked a different song by them. I'm picking $5 Grand at 8-1.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I don't know that one. I don't think. Damn, that's great. That's a Suicide Boys song. I don't know. I'm going to pick the complete similar genre, and that is like acoustic love song. And I'm gonna go Limerence 2. There's no Limerence 1. By Super American. A lot of their stuff is kind of like pop punky emo, but this one's very heartfelt, very nice. Made by two dudes. Love those two dude bands. Homies.
I went on like a tangent today and like put like 3 fucking like hyper pop song. Not even hyper pop. I guess it's more like, I don't know. I'd have to play it for Dylan later so you can classify the genre for me. Like Eric Doa, Glaive kind of, but like their softer stuff.
Like dance pop,
kind of, yeah.
but like a little, yeah.
Yeah, you know. The point is, I added those songs today, so I don't feel too attached to them to be able to put one of them as my jam. Yam, you know. Well, we haven't discussed it yet.
I kind of like Ams. I do like.
I will shout out one song before I pick my jam, and that's gonna be Palm Tree Panic, the P mix. It's a song from a Sonic game that I'd never heard before, and it's a fucking jam and a half. It's dope as fuck. So shout out to that. But the actual song that I'm picking is called "Enter" by Voyage. It's just a very like trippy kind of not psychedelic.
It sounds like it.
Housey, rave on you type vibes. Think of that, like you know, Home. That guy that he makes like the resonance and all that, like that kind of style. So it's just very spacey, so to speak. So that's my jam of the week.
Cool.
Shout outs to us again. Make sure to go and subscribe to Team Joystick. It helps us tremendously as we try to climb the ranks of the YouTube stratosphere. Right now, don't look it up. We're the 500th most subscribed to channel on YouTube, and we're trying to get up there. And if you help us, we could become the 499th by next week. So,
yeah.
But don't look that up.
Don't look it up. We're in a Fight with T series. Don't look it up.
Just listen to us. That's it. Okay. Fucking make sure to go ahead and like this episode if you like it, and if you dislike it, go watch another YouTube channel because I don't know what to tell you. And if you miss Joey, go watch another YouTube channel. I don't know what to tell you. He's gonna be back in like 2 episodes, hopefully. From all of us here at Joystick, make sure to eat your veggies. Make sure to go ahead and drink that milk. It's good for your bones, unless you're lactose intolerant like this guy. In that case, drink what's your preferred? Almond.
Nah, I still have regular milk. I just have
milk?
it like the filtered, you know.
You just get the squirts.
Nah, I get the filtered with no lactose.
I'm talking about like diarrhea.
No, they replace it.
The diarrhea.
The lactose.
No, they have milk now where they pulled out the lactose.
So it's like lactose free milk.
Yeah. So the milk diarrheas
aren't as bad or not at all.
Milk diarrhea is out the lactose.
Yeah. The government made us drink milk.
Big milk.
Big milk.
Big milk.
Big milk.
Big milk is actually real. On next podcast, you'll hear about that.